Hey, what's up everybody? Frank Valkyria, welcome to the channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm a singer and I'm an artist. Yes, that's my book. You wanna buy it? That's a nice way to support the page. Also, it's on Kindle for less than $2. How about that? Huh? You cannot even buy a coffee here for $2, but you buy a book. It's gonna keep you entertained. Anyway, let's go straight to a nice reaction, lyrics reaction. Thank you, Jose, for sending this over there and there. And we have here, just like our parents, como nossos pais. Huh? Huh? I always saw como nossos pais, actually that meant dumb, me, very dumb. In the beginning I thought that meant like our country, paese, because it sounds like paese. But paisano means also like familiar, somebody you know. So I can see the connection between pais and parents, genitori, about that. So here we have the translation, because obviously the first time when I do a reaction, it's a reaction like like that. You react, so you don't have time to delve into the meaning and the depth of the lyrics. So we're doing this other new section just to explore a little bit more. So if you have another lyrics you want to send that is translated correctly, we'll dive straight into it. Let's go together and check this out. Just like our parents, from Belchior. And here we go. I don't want to talk, my great love, about the things that I've learned from the music records. I want to tell you how I lived and everything that happened to me. I enjoy this fact that you can learn, the new generation of the 60s was learning from records, the new wave, literally what was not there. And obviously, I'm already thinking of like rock and Elvis Presley. Living is better than dreaming. I know that love is a good thing, but I also know that any corner is less than the life of anybody. But I also know that any corner is less than the life of anybody. Probably, I don't know exactly the translation if it meant this, but probably here, like I'm thinking also in Italian, it's like at every corner life can change, basically, and things can go like whatever direction, can take whatever turn, literally. Maybe there is that analogy there, I don't know, that kind of metaphor. So be careful, my dear. There is danger around the corner. Yes, that's what I thought. They won, and the traffic light is red for us who are young. Well, maybe here it's referring to the fact that youth was not heard at the time in the Brazilian political landscape of those days. So the frustration comes out through lyrics of artists. Very good, Belchior. To embrace your brother and kiss your girl on the street is what your arms, your lips, and your voice are for. True, I agree to that. Especially today that we can't. You ask me about my passion. I say I'm enchanted like a new invention. I'm gonna stay in this city. I'm not going back to the country, because I see, coming in the wind, the smell of a new season. I feel it all in the open wound of my heart. And when you think about this, I'm talking, when you think like of a phrase like coming in the wind, the smell of a new season, first of all, sip of coffee. And some of you already know what I'm gonna say, namely Lori. Yes, my friend Lori, she knows what I'm gonna say, which is Bob Dylan. Of course. I actually curious to know if this song came out before the famous song of Bob Dylan. Most likely, or maybe not. Like those are sort of universal theme, or when people are oppressed and there are literally voices rising above the noise, above the clatter of the people that don't know how to express themselves. And here we have. So let's continue. It's been a while. I saw you on the street, hair in the wind, young people gather in the wall of memories. These memories is the picture that hurts the most. My pain is realizing that despite having done all that we did, we are still the same and we live. We're still the same and we live. just like our parents. It's a powerful phrase because it just drags in all that it's connected with heritage, culture, the inadvertent indoctrination that it's perpetuated by the habits and the costume of the people that made you, which were also themselves by default victim of the system of both culture and indoctrination. And some stuff just makes it to you. It's like, the most common example, it's when you sort of repeat those phrases, like those proverbs, those things that people say. Like every country has their own. I can name also some stuff that we have in Italy, for instance. That you sometimes you catch yourself repeating it, and the only reason is because your mother was saying it, or your father was saying it all the time, or the people around you were saying it all the time because they heard it themselves, and you keep repeating those things. Those are the lighter things, those are the more superficial things that don't necessarily have an impact on society. But then there are other things which we drag in, like sense of morality, the way of behaving in a certain way that can create that sense of slowing down, like we see in the lyrics. People are the youth, it's held, it's like horses which they're like kept inside a stable, and the only thing they want to do is find out how fast they can go. So very very nice, that this phrase, it's very powerful, that we don't manage to break free from the clutter of indoctrination from our own parents. That's actually the real freedom, the real change, when you really manage to see that. So, where were we? Here we go. Our idols are still the same, and the appearances don't fool us anymore. You say that after them nobody else showed up. I wonder if this means like in the way, like, we have our idols, the people we look up to, and after them, what are we going to have? In the past you had Jesus. You still have Jesus, but like you have religion, like this big institution, this big thing in every country of religion where there is the prophet, and it's narrated and passed on verbally with stories and all kinds of other things in people's mind, and still exists today. We have absolutely no connection to the past if it wasn't for like some historical writings available, of course. So we still believe in those things written by man, that we are still a little bit uncertain of, because God is silent, doesn't talk to you. So there is that, and I get this sense like we have our idols today that can be also others, and at the same time, who is gonna come next? What are we gonna have next after this? Are we gonna have some other, I don't know, sportsmen, celebrities, or whatever to look up to, like has happened in the 90s and 2000, whatever, in the last 30 years or more? So, interesting question as well. Or are we gonna have a complete destruction of society, an implosion? Also a possibility. We don't know. You can even say that I'm delusional, or even that I'm making this up. But it is you who loves the past and can see. It is you who loves the past and cannot see that the new always comes. This is also very powerful. I like this phrase because, again, it shows how, maybe it's referring directly to the dictatorial past of Brazil, to the people enamored with the certain ideals, maybe right-wingers. In general, people we just cannot let go of the past indoctrination of the way of seeing the society, with that kind of baggage of both passed down doctrines and passed down morality coming from religion, or you name it, or those other ideals. So this is also both like a sort of a threat to that to that way of living, but also the truth. The new always comes, and it's unavoidable. But the new also means Donald Trump. We have had, so not always the new. It's gonna go according to a sense of improvement, we can also digress because we are very adaptable. So as humans, we have to keep that in mind, that it's necessary growth, always scanning yourself, scanning society for measuring where we're heading, before we're back into a strange, weird dystopian future, and that kind of perhaps true egalitarian, based on the love of truth and consciousness and cooperation and kindness and compassion, might not be there yet. We have to work still through a lot of traumas. So very powerful that. Now I know that the ones who gave me the idea of a new consciousness and youth are at home, protected by God, counting the vile metal. I think vile metal here intends for money, the vile money, profit. But I also don't understand clearly like the reference, because here might seems that is trying to say like the people that influenced me to have this new idea of this new consciousness and youth, are at home and they're protected by God. They're protected by God. God might mean also like they're in their home and they're protected by their own beliefs. The beliefs of the mainstream, the still beliefs also in God, they're protected by the mainstream, what people believe the most, and at the same time they're counting the profit they made off of a new consciousness. And youth perhaps might mean like, those people are sort of dictating, and they are like sharing new ideals, and they're indoctrinating people with those new ideas, profiting from it, and they're at home counting the vile metal, the vile money. My pain is realizing that despite having done everything that we've did, we're still the same and we live. We're still the same and we live. We're still the same and we live, just like our parents. And it ends on a more depressive way, in a sense, because it ends with the consciousness, with the awareness that we aren't changing until we are really capable of break free from that kind of repetition, that kind of passing down. If you notice it and you can break free, then you're not your parents anymore, and you start to set your own path. Very, very powerful and interesting to see this song like this. And it's still affecting, and we're sharing it today, and it will still talk, and it will still teach, and it will still make people aware. And this is really, truly the beautiful part and power of art, and music. So, guys, let me know if you want to see more. Go check the other videos of yesterday, also about other lyrics reaction of Amonas Assassina. And, yeah, we're going to do some music soon. Ciao.